And so, moving on to our topic. Yes. So, today's topic is body dysmorphic disorder. So I don't know how many of you must have heard about it, but you must have heard about body image, negative body image, and how your appearance looks matters so much and why it does. And due to which it is actually a mental health disorder that can happen when a person is, too much with how about the appearance or the flaws or any kind of issues that he has in his looks.
So, all right. Let's talk about body image. Now, body image is the subjective image people have of their own body, which is distinct from what they have. First slide.
Sorry, sir.
So our body seems to be appearing something, but it is actually something. We perceive it as something, but we are actually somebody else. We are thin, we perceive ourselves as fat, or if we are bulky, we perceive ourselves as thin. Body image is a complex construct and made up of beliefs, thoughts, perceptions, feelings, and behaviors. The way we see ourselves and our bodies has an impact on our physical health, on our mental health, and on our relationships. Now, this is very important for us to understand. How we see ourselves physically, not only emotionally, has a lot of effect on our mental health, physical health, and also on our relationships, either with our spouse or friends or society at large. So we'll go along and we will come to it as to how it affects you. A healthy body image involves having an objective perception of one's appearance and an ability to separate one's value as a person from the way one looks. So now let's talk about negative body image. Negative body image is often characterized by dissatisfaction with appearance and engaging in behaviors such as dieting, checking, or avoiding in an attempt to ameliorate or to improve the dissatisfaction. So we are all the time thinking of ourselves. Will dieting make us thin? We check ourselves and avoid so many behaviors that are appropriate. Negative body image often emerges during childhood and almost affects 30% of adolescents. Now, this is very important. We think that negative body image happens only when we are grown up or when we are adolescents. But no, it can emerge as early as in the childhood, like I said, when you're growing up, when you're growing up, somebody's telling you, oh, you are obese, you should not be looking obese, oh, you're so thin, तुम्हारी माँ तुमको खाना नहीं देती है क्या? So many things that we hear has such an impact on our mind, and while we are growing up, that impact stays with us. So negative body image can lead to different mental health issues like eating disorder, which we will be covering in our next few slides, obsessive compulsive disorder. We have done a full session on this in our previous sessions. Body dysmorphic disorder is what we are covering today. So, all right, so we would like to talk about, let me talk about the eating disorder and then you can elaborate on them. Yeah. So, eating disorders are complex mental illnesses caused by genetic as well as environmental factors. Negative body image is just one potential contributor. Now, it's so important to understand this. It could be generations to generations that we've seen our parents going through the same issue. We have seen ourselves going through the same issues, or the environment. Like I said, environment में लोग कह रहे हैं यार तुम इतनी मोटी होती चली जा रही हो, पैंडमिक में क्या हुआ है, एक्सरसाइज नहीं की है क्या, you become so obese. So that is when we start to look at ourselves as negative. Now, negative body image is prominent in eating disorders because many people with eating disorders place a high value on their body shape and weight when they're determining their own self-worth, which is confidence and self-esteem. Now, it's very important how we look to the outside world. It's not only how we look within ourselves, but how everybody sees you, how everybody perceives you. Self-evaluating, being disappropriately influenced by body shape and weight, is consistent with the diagnosis of anorexia nervosa, bulimia nervosa, and binge eating disorder. Now, in the next few slides, we'll be talking at a greater length of these three disorders, which are associated with body dysmorphic disorders. So, Subi, would you like to elaborate on this?
Yes, thank you, ma'am. Thank you for covering how your body image affects, your mental health.
Right.
So this is very important कि जब आपका when you see or you have a negative body image, then it is very likely that you might have some kind of mental health issue. It could be body dysmorphic disorder, or it could not be as huge as a disorder, but something that you might have an anxiety about it, or you might have or you might have an issue regarding your looks.
Right.
So it can also cause eating disorder, like ma'am was covering. So there are basically three major types of eating disorders that we talk about generally. So one is anorexia nervosa. Anorexia nervosa can result in severe weight loss. A person with anorexia is preoccupied with calorie intake and weight. Yes. So, in this condition, the person is constantly worried, constantly thinking about his weight gain, and is only, the constant thought of that person is that I don't have to put on weight. So when you see these kind of person, or these people with eating disorders such as anorexia, so they will be very very underweight, or abnormally underweight, I would say. And there will be very slim, thin, and you'll feel like the bones will be visible,
like a skeleton.
Yeah. So you will be, that will be very abnormal for you to say. Everybody see slim person, thin hair, but thin and abnormally underweight hona is a very, it is a difference there.
Right.
So these people, they are constantly worried about their calorie intake, so they don't eat. And if they do eat, so they are constantly taking note of what they've eaten, and they're constantly trying to how many calories I've taken in, and how I can burn all those calories what I've eaten. So they're constantly in that constant
mind frame,
the mind frame, or I would say the compulsive thoughts of losing the weight.
Right.
Second is bulimia nervosa. It is a serious condition that can be life threatening. Yes. In bulimia nervosa, the person who is eating, so first the person will binge eat. He'll eat continuously, बहुत ज़्यादा, बहुत
big portions.
Yeah, big portion in a small amount of
time.
The time. The time frame will be less, and the quantity or the amount of food that they eat is very huge.
Okay.
But then after binge, they will have guilt, and to reduce that guilt, the next step would be purging. So purging could be either they'll forceful vomiting. So when you see someone like that, कि वो अपने जबरदस्ती, if they have eaten something, so they'll go to the washroom and they'll just try to take it out whatever they have eaten. So in this process, at times, and it has happened to people at larger, जिनको ज़्यादा issues आने लग जाते हैं, so they also while vomiting, they actually vomit their own intestines at times. So that is how it is life threatening. And वो बहुत ज़्यादा excessive exercise करना, laxatives or diuretics लेना, just to take out the food in their system. So they will use any kind of methods. It could be vomiting, or taking laxatives, or going excessive exercises, just to nullify the effect of the food that they had eaten, or after the binge, the guilt that they have, to reduce that guilt. Then the third is binge eating disorder. As the name suggests, binge eating is actually having short amount of time में large amount of food intake, and that is due to the stressors in their life, or the stressors or the anxiety that they're feeling. So they'll eat more and they'll feel a relief after eating. So that is the how this process works. So they are having stress, they are having anxiety, they're having panic. So to reduce all those symptoms, they'll eat large amount of portions, and then they'll feel guilty about it. So this is the constant cycle. और जिनको binge eating का problem होता है, they are generally overweight. So like said, emotional stress or distress often plays a role and might trigger a period of binge eating. A person might feel a sense of release or relief during a binge, but experiences feeling of shame or loss of control afterwards.
All right. Now let's talk about body image and OCD. As I said that we have covered obsessive compulsive disorder in our earlier sessions. But here, relating to body dysmorphic, I would like to talk about OCD again. OCD is characterized by the presence of either obsessions or compulsions, but commonly both, which is thoughts and habits. We are thinking and we are doing it. So the thought comes to our mind first कि हमें ये करना चाहिए, हमें ये खाना चाहिए, और फिर हम उसको खाते हैं. Then the habits follow the thoughts. Like OCD, body dysmorphic disorder involves persistent and recurrent obsessions like thoughts that are distressing and often uncontrollable, which is all the time we are thinking of our looks or the food that we intake. अगर हमने इतनी कैलोरीज खा ली तो उसका हमारे बॉडी पे कहाँ असर आएगा. Now there was a very beautiful web series by Mrs. Michelle, which is she used to measure every inch of her body and then she used to maintain a diary, you know, कि मैंने ये इतने इंचेस मैंने गेन किए हैं और अगले दिन मैंने इतने इंचेस मैंने लूज किए हैं. So that is a very, very good example of body image and OCD. Now, what happens is people with body dysmorphic disorder engage in repetitive compulsions like behaviors such as looking in the mirror over and over again, repeatedly changing their clothes, asking other people about the imagined defect, and skin picking. Now, what is happening is mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? Yeah. So here I am looking at the mirror and asking others and asking myself, am I the prettiest? Am I the prettiest? Am I the prettiest? Then I change my attire. I change my clothes. Now I have to go out for a party. I'm wearing a dress and somewhere I feel, no, that's not good enough. You know? And then I'll change into another and then into another and then into another and ask my spouse and ask my family and ask my siblings, am I looking fine? Is it the right, is it the appropriate dress that I need to wear? Now, skin picking, we are going to talk about this in our further slides also, is something that agar acne ho jata hai, so what are we doing? We are pressing that acne. Now, what is it causing? It is causing a lot of blemishes. It is further making you look worse, you know. But it has become a habit with us. We are skin picking not only on our face, on our hands, on all the exposed parts of our body, and there are blemishes and it looks ugly, you know. But it has become an OCD, an obsessive compulsive disorder. Yes, Survi, would you like to talk about the body dysmorphic disorder?
So today's topic, that is body dysmorphic disorder and how it is affecting, actually how your body image is leading to body dysmorphic disorder. Body dysmorphic disorder is a mental health disorder in which you can't stop thinking about one or more perceived defects or flaw in your appearance. Yes, the constant obsessive thoughts about that you have a flaw and you do not look appropriate, that flaw is actually perceived. That might not be there, first thing. और अगर वो होगा तो वो इतना ज्यादा negligible होगा कि other people might not even be seeing it. For example, if I have a mole on my face, so I'll be so obsessed with that particular mole कि वो लोगों के लिए बहुत ही normal सी चीज होगी. That could be just part of my personality, the way I look. So that mole is part of what I look. But I'll be so obsessed, I'll be constantly thinking about my appearance, about that mole, and I'll do whatever I want, I want to remove that mole because I'm not looking good enough. So that is my thought process, not that it is true. That is what how I have perceived that mole to be, that it is not looking good. In BDD, individual intensely focus on one's appearance and body image. They repeatedly check the mirror, grooming, or seeking reassurance, sometimes for many hours each day. The second thing that could be noticed, could be observed in the person who is having BDD, could be they are spending their hours, they're spending a lot of time of the day just looking in the mirror, or just changing their clothes, or just trying to look better, applying makeup, or constant worry about how they are appearing or how their appearance is. Then the next is one's perceived flaw and the repetitive behaviors cause significant distress and impact ability to function in daily life. The next very important thing to observe when you see that this person is having a problem, or it could be related to body dysmorphic disorder, is that their daily functioning has been distorted because of their compulsive habits and thoughts of just constantly getting worried about their appearance and doing things to just look pretty or look good, or to maintain that kind of an appearance that they want. So their daily activities, their daily life has been distorted to very much extent, that they're not going for work, or if they're going out, they're spending a lot of time getting ready, or they are not actually living their life, but they are just constantly spending a lot of time in constant worry and distress. Body dysmorphic disorder, which affects up to 2.4% of general population, causing people to become overly concerned with outward appearance. So this is basically this is how the rate is there of this disorder, that at least 2.4% of the general population do have this disorder, and other percentage could be having negative body image. They might not have turned yet into any kind of disorder.
Thank you, Subi, for taking us here.
Yeah.
So,
So this,
yeah.
yeah. So I will like to also, tell some symptoms. How would you recognize someone who has body dysmorphic disorder? How would you know that this person is suffering from any kind of a negative body image, or how would you know that this person needs help? So there are certain signs and symptoms that you can actually check in in your loved one, in your family, in your friends, that this person might have a problem. So the first is being extremely preoccupied with a perceived flaw in appearance that to others can't be seen or appears minor. Like I said, that you are extremely preoccupied, you're constantly worried about a small flaw or a small thing that is not even that necessary, or even other people are not even noticing it, but you have perceived that thing as a flaw in yourself, and you're constantly worried about it. Second is strong belief that you have a defect in your appearance and that makes you ugly or deformed. So you'll have a delusional, your belief system, you'll have strong delusional beliefs, I would say, that your appearance is not up to the mark, that you have a flaw and you are looking ugly, and you'll have that constant fear of that people would not like you, or you'll have constantly worried about how you are looking. Second is third is believe that others take special notice of your appearance in a negative way or mock you. So this will another delusional belief, I would say, that the person with BDD would have, that they would think that other people are talking about them, they are mocking their flaw, or they are looking at you in a negative way, or they are not liking your appearance, or you are looking ugly. Next is engaging in behaviors aimed at fixing or hiding the perceived flaw that are difficult to resist or control, such as frequently checking the mirror, grooming, and skin picking. Yes. So you will have your behaviors would be constantly, around your appearance. जो आपके behaviors होंगे, that will reflect that you're constantly worried about the flaw and you want to change it or you want to improve it. तो या तो आप कपड़ों से, मेकअप से, और even people go for surgeries. Excuse me. Surgeries just to hide or improve that flaw. It could be, like I said, grooming, skin pricking. Skin pricking is actually a disorder. It is a mental health issue, according to American Psychological Association. That the person जो constantly skin prick कर रहे हैं अपना face का, hands, legs, and they are just taking out blemishes or acne कहीं पे होगा, or scratching their marks, something like that. उनकी वजह से बहुत सारे और हेल्थ प्रॉब्लम्स भी होते हैं, दैट यू हैव इन्फेक्शन एंड अदर थिंग्स.
सेप्टिक हो जाएगा, सेप्टिक हो
जाता है,
पस फॉर्मेशन हो जाएगा,
पस फॉर्म हो जाती है, लोगों को एक्चुअली बहुत ज्यादा डिफॉर्मिटी और भी हो जाती है. सो यू डोंट थिंक अबाउट ऑल दीज थिंग्स. आपका कांस्टेंट जो बिहेवियर होगा, आपका जो ऑब्सेशन होगा, दैट विल बी टुवर्ड्स रिमूविंग दैट फ्लॉ दैट यू थिंक दैट इट इज लुकिंग अगली. Next is attempting to hide perceived flaw with styling, makeup, or clothes, like I said. Next is constantly comparing your appearance with others. Yes, that is very, very important. That has happened in today's world. Social media pe everybody is so active, and when you go to any celebrities Instagram, so you see all those beautiful pictures of the actresses, and you also have a body like that. You also think all these things, which is to one extent is natural. Thinking about yourself, thinking about your grooming is natural, but when that limit is crossed, then you know that there is a problem. A constant comparing to someone and then going into drastic steps, taking drastic steps, getting into surgeries or getting into something that is not actually very good for your physical and mental health. Yeah, and the next is frequently seeking reassurance about your appearance from others. Ye to I think it has increased a little bit in teenagers and young adults. You are seeking reassurance from your friends, from your families, that you look good enough and you are good enough. So you don't have to face any kind of mocking or teasing, something like that. So you are constantly looking for the approval from others, which is actually a very, very dangerous sign. I would say that it can lead to low self-esteem, low self-confidence, and leading to other major mental health issues. Yeah. Next is having perfectionist tendencies. Yes. So that is one thing, that when you are comparing yourself and then you want to deal with it, and so you want your body shape, figure, complexion, everything to be perfect. And for that, you do actually things, applying makeup, changing clothes regularly, as in 3-4 times in a day. And then say seeking cosmetic procedures with little satisfaction. Even after you have gone through a cosmetic surgery, you'll not be satisfied. You'll still find some other flaw. You'll perceive something else is wrong with me now. I need to remove that. So this is a constant cycle that goes on. So this actually needs to be addressed and gone and get into treatment. And next is avoiding social situations. Yes. When you think that you do not look good enough, then of course the person will not go out. So he or she will not be very, enthusiastic about meeting people, going into functions, weddings, or anywhere, or even meeting his own friends. Yeah, so these were quite the symptoms that you can check, and if somebody in your circle have any of these 4 to 5 symptoms. So they need to be addressed.
Thank you, Subi, for taking us along this journey of how teenagers and how even adults and young adults are facing this problem and they do not know how to deal with it. And there's a borderline. And when you cross that border, that is where you have to understand that you should go in for therapy.
Yes, right.
And
Absolutely.
And the parents and the partner have to understand that is now they are going overboard.
Even the society, I would
has
say,
to understand
because we have maintained such kind of standards in the society. We are seeing the actors and actresses, and
Absolutely.
you're not even thinking that they are doing so much to look good on the screen.
Absolutely.
And you just want to be like them.
Absolutely.
So this is
So preoccupation with your appearance and excessive thoughts and repetitive behaviors can be unwanted. They excessively focus over one or more body parts of your body. The feature that focus can change over time. The most common features people tend to fixate about include face, such as nose, complexion, wrinkles, acne, and other blemishes, hair, such as appearances, thinning and baldness, skin and vein appearances, breast size, muscle size and tone, and genitalia. Now, muscle size, I've seen a lot of men work out in the gym and they are seeing their heroes, that how they have those muscles and they will go to no end, spend any amount of money to
and
be able
also
to
taking steroids.
Steroids, absolutely, which is absolutely right. So they'll do anything that they can to build their muscles, which I feel as it becomes an OCD over a period of time. Now the causes, you would like to talk about the causes, Surbi?
Yes.
Yeah.
So like we talked about the symptoms and what are the preoccupation that the person has. So how actually body dysmorphic disorder is caused and who is actually, suffering or किन लोगों को होता है या क्यों होता है. So there are a lot of questions around these kind of, disorders. So the certain factors that can lead into developing or triggering body dysmorphic disorders are: first is having blood relatives with body dysmorphic disorders or obsessive compulsive disorders. Yes, so it is actually genetic. So if somebody in your family that is related to you by blood, so if they had any kind of mental illness, it could be OCD, it could be negative body image, it could be body dysmorphic disorder. So you are very likely or at risk for having body dysmorphic disorder. So first is, of course, the genetics. Then negative life experiences such as childhood teasing, neglect, or abuse. Like we were talking, how children also get affected when when they get bullied at school. So negative life experiences actually play very important role. Like somebody has gone, has seen some kind of abuse. It could be a physical abuse, it could be emotional, it could be sexual abuse. So children who suffer these kind of abuse are very likely to develop mental health disorder and body dysmorphic also. Next is certain personality traits such as perfectionism. Yes. So when we are talking about the personality, so people who have a personality that they need to be perfect all the time. So they are actually, constantly worried about their perfectionism. So they are also they are at risk of having BDD. क्योंकि उनको ऐसा लगता है कि if I'm doing my work perfectly, so I also need to look perfect. Next is societal pressure or expectations of beauty, like I was talking about earlier, that the community needs to understand that there are no beauty standards as such that we have set. And just to meet those beauty standards, people are actually so, worried because you're always under the scanner somehow nowadays because everybody's on social media and everybody wants to put good pictures of
take
them.
Selfies and then even drop dead here.
Yeah. So this is how society has also contributed in these mental health issues. Next is abnormalities in the brain. Yes, any mental health problem that you have is at times related to the chemical imbalances in the brain. When certain kind of chemical imbalance happens and any brain part gets affected, then you are at risk of having body dysmorphic disorder. Next is negative evaluations towards self and body image. When you have low self-esteem, low self-confidence, and you don't feel very good about yourself, and you have all those negative thoughts around your body image, then you are at higher risk of, having either OCD or body dysmorphic disorder. Next is having another mental health condition such as anxiety or depression. Yes. अगर आपको कोई और mental health issue है that you have been suffering for a long time, it could be depression, it could be anxiety, it could be OCD, it could be bipolar. So then, as a comorbid condition, you can also have a body dysmorphic disorder. So these are the causes why anyone suffers from BDD.
Right, Surbhi? So you spoke about comorbid conditions.
Right.
That's very, very important for us to talk about those, So major, Sunil, major depression and other mood disorders. So there could be suicidal thoughts or behaviors also. One could think of taking their lives because there's so much of discrimination happening all around you. People are thinking of you, they're saying something to you, So you're going into major depression. I'm not talking about depression, which is small or which is slight. These are major depressions and mood disorders which could lead to suicidal thoughts or behaviors also. Now anxiety disorders, including social anxiety disorder, that is social phobia. There could be a phobia, there could be an anxiety, there could be depression, there could be suicidal behavior. All of it are associated with comorbid conditions. So OCD we have spoken about, eating disorders we have spoken about, substance misuse. Now, like Surbhi said, to build our muscles, what are we doing? We are taking certain drugs to build those muscles, and what we don't know is that what is it causing to us? How is it harming us in the long run? So we are doing all this without even knowledge of it. Just because we are seeing some of our actors, some of our heroes with those muscles, and we want to do the same. Health problems from behavior such as skin picking we've spoken about. Physical pain or risk of disfigurement due to repeated surgical intervention, like Surbhi said, that when we are under the scanner, when we are on the table of the surgeon, is what we should know. What is the cause and effect of it? Why are we doing it? What will be the outcome of it? So you should have all those thoughts in place before one goes into first surgery to correct your appearance. So that is also very, very important. Yeah. So would you like to talk about diagnosis? Yeah.
Yes, diagnosis is actually very important because once you have observed the symptoms in someone, so then the next step is, of course, taking them to a mental health professional. And how the diagnosis of BDD actually occurs is very, very important. So there are few points that we as mental health professionals keep in mind before diagnosing the person with BDD. First is appearance preoccupations. The individual must be preoccupied with one or more non-existent or slight defect or flaws in their physical appearance. Like I've been talking about it, that there are preoccupations of the perceived flaw. That is, either it is not there or it is too, such minimal flaw it is that even other people are not even seeing it. But the person who has BDD, they are constantly thinking about that particular chota sa flaw that they have, or something that they have, just made up themselves. It is not even there. Second thing is repetitive behavior. So individual must perform repetitive compulsive behaviors in response to the appearance concerns. Like we've been talking about OCD. So the person should have repetitive behaviors of either constantly watching the mirror, changing the clothes, or bathing, or applying makeup. So these are some common repetitive behaviors that one should have before a clinician diagnoses that person with BDD. Then the clinical significance, of course. The preoccupation must cause clinically significant distress or impairment in social, occupational, and other important areas of functioning. Yes. So clinically, when you have a preoccupation in your mind regarding any of your flaw or appearance, that could affect your day-to-day life. That should have a great impact on your functioning, on your daily functioning. Could be social, it could be occupational. That you are not, you are socially withdrawn, or you are not doing your work properly, or you are not going out, or you are not, performing your best at work or at home, and your life has been actually distorted because of that one constant thought of or a flaw that you have perceived. Next is differentiation from disorder. This is very, very important because a lot of the symptoms of eating disorder and BDD are very similar. The clinician should be very, very, before diagnosing that, he should be very, very sure that this is not an eating disorder and this is body dysmorphic disorders. So there are a lot of tests and assessment that is done when you go to a psychologist. They refer any kind of therapy to you. So this is how the diagnosis of BDD works. Yeah.
So now let's talk about management. Thank you, Subi, for taking us.
Thank you.
I mean, it's so important to know when to take the person for therapy,
Yes.
or for clinical intervention.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about management. How do we manage body dysmorphic disorder? Body dysmorphic disorder can be successfully treated. So it's not something that it cannot be treated. The most effective treatment option involves a combination of a type of psychotherapy along with medications, including antidepressants. Now, like Subi said, if the clinician has understood that this needs, if the psychotherapist has understood that he or she needs medication and needs antidepressants, so one should not shy away from taking these antidepressants or medications which will cure you or stabilize your BDD. Therapist can create a customized treatment plan, including CBT, REBT, clinical hypnotherapy. As similar therapy plan doesn't work with all the clients. Like I say, all my therapies are customized. One shoe does not fit all. So the clinician or the therapist has to understand what is it, where is it coming from, and then have a treatment plan ready to customize it according to the need of the client who has come to them. Shame and embarrassment about your appearance may keep you from seeking treatment for body dysmorphic disorder. But if you have any signs or symptoms, see your primary care provider or a mental health professional. Now, I always say in all my sessions, mental health is brushed under the carpet. We do not acknowledge it. We are always in a denial. So, friends, my appeal to all of you whenever I do a session is that take note of any behavior which is not usual, which is unusual, and address it rather than deny it. And you cannot be in a denial. You cannot brush mental health under the carpet. You have to acknowledge it, you have to accept it, and then you have to treat it. Body dysmorphic disorder usually doesn't get better on its own. If left untreated, it may get worse over time, leading to anxiety, leading to severe depression, and even suicidal thoughts and behaviors. So that is why, again and again, my appeal to you is, if you are seeing anybody in your family, in your friends, in your social circle going through this kind of an issue, you have to counsel them and tell them that they have to be treated, for it will become worse over the period of time.
Yeah. So thank you, ma'am. Thank you for covering the management, because it is very important when someone in your family or your loved one suffers from any kind of mental health problem. So even the care for the patient is fine, but then the care for caregivers or the family members is also
Yes.
very, very important.
Yes.
So whenever you see somebody, or whenever you have that kind of that person doesn't seem all right or not his normal self, that is the time when you need to take them to into the therapy. So thank you all for joining in. So just small announcement. This is our upcoming session that we'll be doing on 13th of January, Wednesday. This is borderline personality disorder. We know we do, relate personality disorders with a lot of things. That person, loses all his ideology, all his beliefs, or he is not in the right frame of mind, or he is not what he is. But for starters, we'll start with borderline personality disorder and how it affects oneself and the relationships, of course. And so this is our upcoming session. Please do join in. And also a small request, please do send us your email IDs in the chat box. Also,
Meena?
Yeah.
I have a question.
We'll just take questions.
Just give me another minute. 1 minute, huh? Just 1 minute and we'll take questions then.
Yeah. So this is our official pamphlet. You can take a picture of it. This is the pamphlet for Society for Complementary Therapies, and you can get in touch with us anytime you want. And if you see in your family or yourself, if you are stressed or you have any kind of symptoms of any issues that we deal in, so you can always contact us.
Yeah.
So now I think we can take the question.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, now we can take the questions.
Yes.
My question is,
yes, Paramji.
जो अभी नई मदर बनती हैं, मतलब आफ्टर डिलीवरी जो न्यू बहुत बच्चे के साथ मदर होती हैं, वो अपने आप को छोड़ देती हैं बिल्कुल, क्योंकि ना उनको रेस्ट मिलती है ना टाइम मिलता है, फिर वो बिंज ईटिंग खाने करने लगती हैं.
राइट.
और फिर एक ऐसा टाइम आता है कि वो अपनी बॉडी को छोड़ देती हैं, क्योंकि और इतनी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी होती है, फिर उनका बॉडी में इंटरेस्ट खत्म हो जाता है जो है. तो उस तरीके की प्रॉब्लम को डील करने के लिए वो उसका मन नहीं करता एक्सरसाइज करने का, उसका मन नहीं करता सोशल गैदरिंग में जाने का, और उसको थोड़ा कॉम्प्लेक्स भी हो जाता है. तो उसके बारे में मुझे बताइए कि
दिस इज अ हार्मोनल,
और बिंज ईटिंग होने लगती है.
या देखिए हार्मोनल इम्बैलेंस है. अब आप सोचिए न्यू मदर has gone through a lot of changes, उसकी बॉडी में कितनी चेंजेस हुए हैं.
वो कंटिन्यूअली चलता है 5, 6, 7 साल जब तक ये बच्चा बड़ा नहीं होता. तो उसके बारे में
राइट. नो, आई कैन अंडरस्टैंड परमजीत. मैं समझ सकती हूँ कि एक न्यू मदर के लिए शुरू में हैंडल करना मुश्किल होता है, लेकिन जब ये ऑब्सेसिव कंपल्सिव डिसऑर्डर हो जाता है, मतलब रिपीटेड बिहेवियर हो जाता है कि यू हैव निग्लेक्टेड योरसेल्फ टोटली, दैट इज वेयर दैट वी हैव बीन सेइंग मदर नीड्स टू सी अ थेरेपिस्ट. मदर नीड्स टू बी काउंसल्ड कि क्या बात है, क्यों उन्होंने सब इंटरेस्ट छोड़ दिया है अपने ऊपर, क्यों वो अपना ध्यान देना बिल्कुल बंद कर दिया है. सो देयर इज डेफिनेटली एन अंडरलाइन रीजन फॉर इट. There is a cause for it, परमजीत, और उस कॉज तक पहुंचने के लिए उसको किसी थेरेपिस्ट को कंसल्ट करना चाहिए. और एक दफा वो कॉज तक हम पहुंच जाएंगे, then the cure
के बारे में
yes, it can happen. Then she will get back to her normal self,
Yes, और उसमें बिंज क्योंकि सोल्यूशन नहीं मिलता, तो वो बिंज ईटिंग भी बहुत करने लगते हैं.
Right. So that is because of the stress. They are, experiencing the stress that is happening or the changes that has occurred in their life. उसकी वजह से बहुत ज़्यादा stress होने लग जाता है. That is why the binge eating starts, and they could also feel, guilty about it. उनको शायद बुरा भी लगता होगा.
I'm sure they do. Yeah.
That is when, every new mothers are actually, उनको बोला जाता है कि they should get into, therapy for maybe for a short time.
Absolutely.
But they should.
Yes.
They should.
Absolutely.
Yes. और दूसरा क्या होता है कि मेडिकल प्रॉब्लम जैसे अभी आपने बताई, जैसे किसी को थायराइड है, थायराइड में भी वेट बढ़ता है. वो उसमें चलो बच्चे का नहीं होता, लेकिन उसमें भी प्रॉब्लम आती है. तो उसका तो मेडिसिन है.
करेक्ट.
मेडिसिन ले रहे हैं, लेकिन मेडिसिन से नहीं फर्क पड़ता.
राइट. देन ऑफ कोर्स शी नीड्स टू गो.
वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन.
ठीक आपने कहा, बहुत सही.
थेरेपी में क्या करें, क्या नहीं, थेरेपी में मेडिकल प्रॉब्लम है तो उसमें क्या करोगे?
नहीं, मेडिकल प्रॉब्लम तो एक चीज है, थेरेपी में तो जो और इमोशनल इश्यूज हैं उसको हैंडल करेंगे हम, उसमें केवल मेडिसिन नहीं है. देन व्हाट इज इट दैट शी इज गोइंग थ्रू, व्हाट इज द ट्रॉमा दैट शी इज गोइंग थ्रू, व्हाट इज इट दैट्स हैपनिंग इन हर लाइफ, जिसकी वजह से हर चीज से इंटरेस्ट उनका उठ गया है. बिल्कुल आपने बिल्कुल ठीक कहा कि यस, I mean, this is something which is very normal, for somebody to
बड़ी प्रैक्टिकल है, आम लोगों के साथ होता है ऐसे।
बिल्कुल, जैसे आपने कहा हाइपोथायरॉइड है या, तो उसमें डेफिनेटली वेट गेन होता है, बट अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट वी नीड टू टेक हर फॉर काउंसलिंग अगर ये चीज ठीक नहीं हो रही है।
एक और क्वेश्चन माई,
बताइए।
जैसे कोई बैंक में काम करता है, वो उसकी 10 घंटे सिटिंग ही हो रही है, 8 घंटे सिटिंग ही हो रही है, तो वो इतना एग्जॉस्ट हो जाता है कि वो अपने बॉडी की तरफ ध्यान नहीं दे पाता है, तो उसमें भी प्रॉब्लम आती है ना?
ट्रू,
अगर उसकी बैक एक है, कुछ है।
सेडेंटरी हैबिट्स जब भी हमारी होती हैं तो प्रॉब्लम्स आती हैं, लेकिन हमें उसको ब्रेक करना है, उसको साइकिल को ब्रेक करना है। और वो भी एक ऐसी चीज है कि जहां हम एडवाइस ले सकते हैं, नॉट ओनली अ मेंटल हेल्थ प्रोफेशनल बट इवन समबडी अ डाइटिशियन मे बी, और योगा और हेल्थ प्रोफेशनल, जो आपको गाइड करेगा सही से कि भाई आपकी सेडेंटरी लाइफस्टाइल है तो उसमें आप क्या कर सकते हैं और कब क्या कर सकते हैं उसमें।
ओके, थैंक यू।
यू वेलकम परम।
मेरे पास बहुत क्वेश्चन होते हैं आपका, मैं पढ़ के आती हूँ जो आपका नेक्स्ट टॉपिक।
परमजीत, हम तो चाहते हैं कि एक्टिव लिसनर्स हो, एक्टिव पार्टिसिपेंट्स हो, तभी मजा आता है करने का।
क्योंकि मैं जो आप टॉपिक देते हो उस पे मैं स्टडी करके आती हूँ, पूरी स्टडी करती हूँ।
वेरी
आपसे बात करती हूँ।
वेरी गुड। कौन था अभी, कौन बोल रहा था? मंजू बोल रही थी।
मैं, हाँ मीना जी, ये प्रॉब्लम जो है वो खाली न्यूबॉर्न बेबीज की मदर्स के साथ नहीं, ये जनरल भी होता है। कि मान लीजिए
मैंने यही बात कही।
हाँ, कि यही कि भाई कि कोई ओवरवेट है, कोशिश कर रहा है कि अपना डाइट से, थोड़ी एक्सरसाइज से, लेकिन वो 4-5 महीने में कोई रिजल्ट नहीं देखता।
करेक्ट।
कोशिश अपनी कर रहे हैं, देन यू स्टार्ट लूजिंग इंटरेस्ट, और फिर देन बिंज ईटिंग स्टार्ट, और वो और ज्यादा वेट बढ़ जाता है।
करेक्ट।
तो उसके लिए भी कोई थेरेपिस्ट के पास जाने की जरूरत है?
मुझे नहीं पता थेरेपिस्ट की नहीं, बट डेफिनेटली डाइटिशियन, लाइक आई सेड, कोई डाइटिशियन, कोई फिटनेस कोच हो जो आपको बता पाए। इसमें हर चीज के लिए मेंटल हेल्थ नहीं है ये, कभी मेंटल हेल्थ होता है, कभी नहीं होता है, बट इट कुड बी अ डाइटिशियन, इट कुड बी समबडी हु कैन गाइड यू कि भाई आप रूटीन में क्या कर सकते हैं टू लूज वेट, जो आप अपने आप नहीं कर पा रहे हैं। सो ऑब्वियसली हमने तो पूरी भरपूर कोशिश कर ली, लेकिन ऑब्वियसली हमारे डाइट में कोई चीज ठीक नहीं है, या हमारी एक्सरसाइज रिजीम जो है वो ठीक नहीं है, सो समबडी नीड्स टू गाइड यू देयर। उसमें यू नीड टू
नहीं, लेकिन मैंने कुछ लोगों को देखा है कि दे फॉलो द डाइटिशियंस डाइट, कि हाँ, डाइटिशियन को पे बड़े बड़े अमाउंट्स पे कर रहे हैं, और वो जो बता रहे हैं वो खा रहे हैं, थोड़े दिन वो चलेगा।
करेक्ट।
हो सकता है 19-20 का फर्क भी पड़ जाए, लेकिन जहां आपने वो छोड़ा, आपने सोचा कि अब मेरे को जो डिजायर था या उसके आसपास आ गया, तो जैसे ही आप वो छोड़ते हैं तो फिर यू आर बैक टू द स्क्वायर वन।
करेक्ट, व्हिच इज राइट।
मैम, ये तो हर चीज के साथ है। इवन इफ यू नो स्टॉप एक्सरसाइजिंग, तब भी people who go to gyms, so until unless you are going to gym, then you are fine. The time when you stop going to the gym, then your weight that you have lost will come back for sure. So you have to maintain that.
वो तो स्पोर्ट्स पर्सन्स के भी साथ देखा है कि दोज हु प्ले रेगुलरली, और एक बार ड्यू टू एज और एनी अदर रीजन दे डोंट प्ले दैट मच, या वो छोड़ देते हैं, तो दे पुट ऑन वेट अ लॉट।
करेक्ट, करेक्ट। So we need to be consistent in whatever.
मेरे को ये लगता है कि ओवरवेट की प्रॉब्लम नहीं होती, आपके कॉम्प्लेक्सेस में ना आ जाए प्योरिटी और इम्प्योरिटी, वो ज्यादा मैटर कर रहा है मेंटल।
नहीं, लेकिन ओवरवेट की होती है, उसके कारण कई सारे हेल्थ इश्यूज बनते हैं। इफ यू आर ओवरवेट तो हेल्थ इश्यूज तो आते ही हैं उससे।
करेक्ट। एनीबडी
मेंटल इशू भी आते हैं, मेंटल भी आते हैं।
करेक्ट। एनीबडी एल्स हु वांट्स टू शेयर or share their or give a feedback on the session that we have had? You can unmute and share, Manisha.
Yeah, I just wanted to share that, for example, from a very young age, I've always had this issue of having dark circles or baggy eyes, and I've been very conscious of it. So, then there came a point that I found that, a little bit of just makeup can help you cover those things. And so when I'm stepping out, I apply a bit of makeup, and just simple thing like that can make a lot of difference to your body image.
Right.
And I feel that ऐसे solutions हैं जो बिना बहुत ज़्यादा without too much effort can make a difference. There's no harm in adopting them.
Very nice.
So I think
what you said is that you are not obsessed. You know that there is a flaw and you correct it, but you're not only obsessed by it. You don't judge yourself for it, this is something that can be corrected. Like you said very nicely, what you have said is it is correctable. You can correct it by a little bit of measure, so that is very nice.
Even in things like obesity, there are certain styles of clothes that will make you look slimmer. So when you are looking for solutions to fight your problem, look for some non-invasive, not very expensive things that you can do by yourself. And, all those things make a difference.
Absolutely.
Without investing too much or getting obsessed with it. But all of us like to look prettier. All of us like to look, of better shape. No harm in acknowledging that and working towards it.
Absolutely. Like you said that you are in this side of the border, not the other side. Once we cross the line, that is where the problem begins. So once you are within the range and you know that these are the flaws, and I can correct them by very simple methods.
Yes.
You're not getting complex. The moment we start to get complex, that is where the problem comes.
Yes.
Thank you so much for sharing that. These are lovely tips that you've given us. And I also have baggy eyes, and you've been telling me to correct them, but I've not got the right solution to it.
Yes, you need to find it then.
Yes, I will. Yeah. I will. Thank you for sharing that, Manisha. Anybody else who wants to share their issues, if they faced any or seen anybody face these issues? Anybody else who wants to share? Rekha, आप चुप क्यों हैं? आप तो खूब बोलते हैं, आज चुप क्यों हैं रेखा?
एक्चुअल में मैं थोड़ा सा लेट हो गई अटेंड करने में.
नो प्रॉब्लम.
तो मैंने एक्चुअल में सुन भी नहीं पाई कि आपने क्या बोला.
कोई बात नहीं. हम लोग बात कर रहे थे कि अपने बॉडी में जो हमारे फ्लॉज हैं उसकी वजह से हम बहुत परेशान रहते हैं. कभी हम मोटे हैं, कभी हम बहुत पतले हैं.
ना सुखी.
अच्छा, इसके बारे में तो मैं सिर्फ इतना ही कहना चाहूंगी. हेलो.
हाँ रेखा, सुन रही हूँ.
मैं बस इतना ही कहना चाहूंगी कि फ्लॉज तो हर एक की बॉडी में या कहीं ना कहीं होते ही हैं, लेकिन मैं शायद उन लोगों में से हूँ जो कि अपने फ्लॉज की परवाह नहीं करते, बिकॉज आई लव माई सेल्फ द मोस्ट.
वेरी नाइस.
कुछ फ्लॉज हैं तो अगर कुछ फ्लॉज हैं तो हैं, जिसको एक्सेप्ट करना है वो मुझे एज ए होल एक्सेप्ट करे, और जिसको नहीं करना है आई डोंट केयर.
वेरी नाइस.
लेकिन हाँ, मैं कहीं जाती हूँ तो कोशिश करती हूँ कि मैं ऐसे ही झाबड़ झूला सी नहीं चली जाऊं कहीं भी. थोड़ा प्रेजेंटेबल होना चाहिए. इवन मैं घर में भी प्रेजेंटेबल ही रहती हूँ.
करेक्ट.
बस.
वेरी वेल सेड. दैट इज द राइट एटीट्यूड टू लाइफ कि हम जो हैं वो ही हैं, लेकिन हम आपने बड़ा अच्छा शब्द यूज किया, झाबड़ झोल नहीं होना चाहिए. व्हेन यू आर गोइंग आउट एंड ड्रेस एप्रोप्रिएटली, जहां आप जा रही हैं उसमें क्या आप, व्हाट इज एप्रोप्रिएट ड्रेस टू बी देयर. यस नीलम गुप्ता.
बिल्कुल बहुत जरूरी है. बिल्कुल. अब जैसे